Very hard one, as you were saying out there, to call, isn't it?
It is a really tough one to call, and I just don't know what's going to happen here. I think I've had a good inkling all day long what I was expecting, and I even thought, I wasn't surprised to see Wales beat Northern Ireland. Just felt that they were just one of those. They might be up for it in that sort of way, and obviously everything went their way in that match, and they did get over the line. But here, I just don't know. I think we could be in for an absolute treat, and obviously you can see the 70 minutes, so we're in for a longer match as well. I said tongue-in-cheek that Wales have the cheat code that is Tom Cousins. He has made 4 out of 4 clearances from the break in the tournament so far. And here he goes again.
Make that 5.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good first break. I think that goes without saying from Tom. The man in the chair for Malta, Owen Amato, not had the best tournament for the team. Only 6 frames won from 22 appearances in the World Team Championships so far. But took Chris Melling very close the other night. And had a good run as well in the Masters. Looks a very dangerous opponent. I don't think those stats completely do him justice.
I like the decision though from Malta. I really do. I mean, just throw someone out there, and if he gets a chance at the table, don't Tom's got the break and he breaks at such a high percentage, then you're not going to get to the table. Why waste one of your big gun players? So I really like it. Said that in the studio, and I sort of stand by it.
Yeah, in fact they've done pretty much exactly the thing you said as well. They've sent out a sort of young gun player. This is a guy that was almost a giant killer over Chris Melling the other evening. Exactly the kind of person you want. Might not have a chance, but if he does, could come up with something big. Tom, though, is doing what Tom does. He's broken beautifully. He's going beautifully through the clearance so far. Tom's just getting involved in none of the drama. I think he sees the funny side of having Cole Bedford in his team, and they clearly get on well, but just none of that with Tom, is there? It's all business when he's at the table.
I mean, I watched that last match with an awful lot of top players around me. Some of the Northern Irish team were there watching, enjoying the action. First time they've not been involved in the final, and they were like, "Oh, it'd just be nice to see Tom have some work to do." And I do get it as a top player. I mean, he's had 5 really nice chances in the tournament today, but he has not put a foot wrong in any of them. There's other people in the tournament today that have had similar level chances and have gotten a complete mess over it. You're just never going to get that with Tom.
No, and it's the fact that he's played so well, it's making these chances look absurdly easy. This is the level he's got himself to over the last few months. And even though slightly off angle on that last red, had to hold position and just did it completely effortlessly. I mean, that looked like the simplest clearance going, but only really because he broke so well and then kept such good position.
So smooth for the number 1, isn't it? Just big break, clear him up. That's 4 break clearances and a reverse clearance. And he very much is got Wales on his back, and he's carrying them forward here. And that's the other big thing. If this match goes quickly, when we do get to the 3rd rotation of players, then he gets up there for a 3rd frame as well, and that could be a factor, especially if we're in a close stage in the match.
That's the advantage of having him out first. He's the most likely to get 3 frames.
And now Malta send out the man that has been leading off for them in the competition all the way, Dejan Gretchen. Very good player, former European champion, former Ultimate Pool Pro. It's I like what they've done. You're giving Dejan the break. I mean, he's got to make a ball to make it worth it, but he's not going to.
Gave the break everything. Got his whole body through that one. Up for Wales, one of the wild card players, Oli Bale. Another one that drama just seems to follow him around. One of the most experienced players in the Welsh team. Played a lot of team pool over the years. Knows exactly what this 1 frame format's all about. More famous a lot of the time for his antics like his one-handed pool, but I like to think he's going to use both hands to complete this clearance.
He's got a very frustrated figure today. He's obviously very pleased that he's in the final with his team, but he's not really been able to be a factor for his team. I think he won a frame in the first match, but I think he's just sat there, and I think he's had a couple of chances get away, and he's also had a couple be cleared up on him as well. And he's just been out there for the matches, and I've not been on commentary, and he has been very frustrated. Well, he might be frustrated again.
He always wears his heart on his sleeve, but he's got something to display to us about that one. That was a poor miss. Dan would have been annoyed at that dry break because he's got a reasonably decent split. Immediately invited back to the table.
Two lows on the right hand side, one nearest the cushion. Where are you going with that one? And does the one just inside that go to the corner? Does go to the middle, obviously. And the only balls to really give too much consideration to. The rest are very nice. Although he couldn't get close to the next ball with that angle.
These two play in a fairly similar style, and their cue ball isn't always immaculate, but their shot making's pretty good to make up for it. Do you just feel with Dan that if you just slightly improve his positional play, it'd be pretty much unplayable? Great shot maker, but just cue ball often flying around the table. I mean, there, good example of it. He had the right line for that cannon, but got into it a bit firmly. So he's got both the yellows out, but he's going to have to go and retrieve that one that he's knocked to the top of the table. Some players try and play very precise position and avoid cannons. Diane's always been pretty happy to have the cue ball travelling around the table. He has to play a few cannons along the way, why not? This Maltese team is just built for this shootout format. They're just so incredibly entertaining. Like to go after everything very quickly. Definitely not ones to get involved in a safety game when they don't have to.
Very good. A couple more rolls would be ideal. That's not bad. He can still drop this in, and I think he'll go centre. It could go corner. Depends how. You'd have to be right behind it. It could go corner. Might end up straight in left centre. Either way, he's got a really good chance here. He's
played a lot of doubles already today. It's been his kind of cheat code for getting out of trouble. Well, this is a bit awkward. Hasn't got much to do with the cue ball, but cueing directly over that red. Shouldn't be a problem, but this is the kind of shot when you're rolling across the middle of the table that you can't afford to flick any unwanted side on.
Big mistake from Dehan. That frame was one. That's really poor. It's a better play than that.
Yeah, if that red's not there, there's no way that ever happens.
But if that was a danger, then float it round the other way.
Early bail, as ever. Straight down to play the shot. Very quick. Never looks to be giving things much thought. A lot of nervous mannerisms at the table. That's not just the nerves of this situation. He always does that. Good shot there to negotiate the plant, but also load the cue ball up the side to get down for the ball at the bottom of the table. This is good from Oli. He's gone up the table for the ball that's isolated from the rest. Doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball because the other one's there waiting. Just screw this back slightly. Well, he may have been disappointed with his... Wow, it's not a great shot. I was going to say with his lack of involvement earlier on, but he's had a chance to make amends. It's the poorest shot he's played in this visit. Just needed to draw the cue ball back and this would have been unmissable. Now he's left himself with a bit of work to do. Well, in fact, he's had to play the double. And he's got a double. Made a simple finish look pretty difficult there, but that's what Oli does at times. The important thing is he's got the 8 ball down.
He'll be pleased just these gets to contribute. He's now feels a bit more part of it than he has done for the majority of the previous 2 matches. Doesn't really matter how he managed to do it, but he has done it. And Malta off to a sluggish start here. Obviously nothing you can do about that first frame, but Dehan missing a really big chance in that frame. I'll hand it over to the world champ. For how much longer we will find out. He's got his last 16 match tomorrow morning. Has Clayton Castaldi. But for now, the champion is coming out to try and get his team going.
Been a decent defence of his title so far. Such a good performance in Morocco. It's always going to be hard to emulate that again this year. Played pretty well over the week or so that he's been in Blackpool.
Chaos Cole Bedford out for Wales, and never has that nickname felt more correct than today. He has been absolute chaos. 8 ball. Oh. But it's a great chance here for Cole Bedford.
It's pretty much exactly the player you want for a shootout. Always some drama seems to follow him around. This format made to showcase his talents.
He is very talented, but his patterns can be all over the place at times. He can go all around the houses.
Very idiosyncratic style as well. When you see him cue up to the ball, he cues off to the side and then seems to straighten up at the point of impact. Still playing to a 30-second shot clock, but he's racing around the table.
Gives up so much when he's at the table. He's like the anti-Tom Cousins, isn't he? Tom is just, you never see an expression of him whatsoever. Cole is giving you so much at all times.
I get the feel with Tom, he's not hiding it. He was genuinely like that. There's just not much going on. He's just going around the table, keeping it simple. Whereas Cole, you can see everything he's thinking. Very good curious though. Don't be fooled by some of the drama that follows him around. He's a good player, that's why he's in this position. It's looking like a dream start for Wales so far.
Clayton looks to the skies. Nothing he can do if he doesn't get to the table. Simple 8 ball even from hampered queuing here for Cole Bedford.
From there, loading that last shot up with side, probably more than a lot of people would have used, but landed nicely.
Well, they were 3-0 down in the semi-final. They're 3-0 down again. Malta off to another sluggish start. Longer match though, so there is more time to turn things around, but I feel they need to get going. They need to get something on the board and get them vocal, get some positivity coming out of this Maltese team.
It really is, as you say, a carbon copy of that semi-final. France got off to a great start. Malta didn't look like they were doing anything at the beginning, and then suddenly it was all Malta for the next few frames. I'm very much going to hope the same thing happens here.
Ross Dunn comes out then for Wales. Didn't play in the match this afternoon, but did play earlier on, but all he got to do was watch his opponent clear up, which is tough, but unfortunately part of the game. He's been going very well this week though as Ross.
And the man at the table, Gary Carr for Malta, likes to lead his team from the front. No friends there though. I saw the interview before his first match, how much this all means to him. Such a great team spirit in that Maltese team. I think it does help with the overseas teams, the fact they've had to travel over a long way. They're all away from home. It means that their teammates become their family while they're here. Well, Ross Dunn, first chance in play at the table. I can't quite believe what he's done there. He's looking mystified at the cue ball. Just didn't really get hold of that, so he's going to have to reroute up the table. Looking at that plant was sticking out and able to be taken, because I don't think that was what he'd played. Lots of traffic at the bottom of the table, but he's kind of done with this half once he spots this ball, so he's going to find a way to get the cue ball through a gap so he's got a shot at the top, and then he can work with the space he's got in the top half of the table. Flirting with danger, but all good. Can still see the ball he's trying to pot. Bit of extra pressure on him, the fact that he didn't play in that first round match, because he obviously wants to show that he's part of this team. Be happy enough with the results and the fact they're in this final, but everyone wants to feel like they're contributing to the team.
Yeah, essentially comes in to replace Zach Shepherd. Of course, they can make substitutions once we get to the 7th frame, but Zach obviously, he's been going well this week, but the mistake he made this afternoon was jarring, and I think that's why he's kind of taken a step backwards, and Ross is out there. Oh, is this too far? Oh, it's awkward again. No need to be anywhere near that far.
Just about to see the red to the top right, but no position. To reach over, quite awkward to get to this. He's just going to have to focus on potting the ball and take his medicine in terms of the position. I hear a few of the team shouting things out. At the end of that last semi-final against Ireland, the amount of stuff that was being shouted out. It's getting very specific as well, some of the chants that were going on.
Is this Malta's chance? Just got a little bit loose there at the back end for Ross Dunn. I don't think there's anything to think about here for Gary Carr. I think it's time to go. Yes, you've got one on the cushion, but you should be absolutely plumb behind it and make a case for it being last ball, actually, with the 8 ball being where it is. But there's other balls you can play on off it. There should be no reason to not be right behind that ball.
If the red's safe somewhere, you might consider bumping that yellow out and playing a snooker, but with the red so close to the pocket, you just don't want to risk your opponent having a shot at it.
Or does this yellow go past the 8 ball to the corner? If it's in the centre, it's not the best.
Well, he's negotiated that. Still chasing position a little bit. As you say, the focus has to be to land straight on the ball up the left rail. Doesn't want to be cutting that with any kind of angle. And as a result, he's decided to bail out of this clearance. He's always guaranteed a good snooker there, but time will tell whether this is the right result, because if Ross comes out of the snooker and pots the red, it's not going to look a clever decision. Just looking at whether he wants to come up and down the table and come off the right side cushion into the red, or whether he wants to go directly into it. The focus is going to be on potting the ball, but he's also, if he's going to target that, he's got to think about position onto the 8 ball.
It's a good hit, but not what he was looking for. Red finishing right in the middle of the table. Does put a little bit of pressure here on Gary, but he should really get these now. No reason not to.
It's going to feel like the right decision now to promote the ball that was on the rail, because now he hasn't got any difficult pots. This is exactly the pattern of the semi-final against France. 3-0 down, bit of a scrappy 4th frame, then Malta get it in, suddenly start motoring. Position shot that, 98 unmissable. They're 3-0 down, but Malta have got the frame they needed to open their account. Lost done in first, but came up short in the last ball. Slipped out of position and just left himself a bit too much to do in the end.
How big will that be? Try and limit the errors, take the frames when you get the chances. How big will that mistake be?
The shootout has been held 3 times. Malta has been in the final on every occasion. It'd be a fairly heartbreaking record if they were to go 3 finals and 3 losses. Even though in a sense that's quite a good record to have been so consistent as to keep making the final.
Malta have the luxury of sending out another world champion. This time it's a black ball world champion from 2014. Claudio Cassar. Andy Williams, the ultimate pool professional for Wales.
2 of the more measured players in the lineup. Don't think we'll see too many antics from either of them. They both play a fairly orthodox game. We've seen Andy a couple of times being tasked with essentially just running the clock down. Seems to have been the man that's at the table when Wales have had some kind of lead and hasn't necessarily needed to win the last frame. He's a big guy with a big break, but hasn't managed to find a ball.
He's been he is the skipper, but he's been there at the end of the matches, isn't he, today? He's gone out there just to run the clock down for 20 seconds here and there. It's been a nice, comfortable day for him.
Yeah, and he's in a way the right man for the job. I don't mean that in a pejorative way. It's just a level-headed guy that knows what needs to be done. You know, he's not going to do anything crazy. Claudio Cassara as well has looked very measured. Players have quite a flamboyant team. There's a number of people in the team who really like to go for their shots. He looks like he's going to try and keep things a bit simpler.
Just a touch off straight the wrong way here. He would have loved an extra half a turn. That's why he just took a few extra seconds, but he can get through to 1 at the top.
Helps the players to relax into this match, the fact that it is a longer race. Still 52 minutes remaining on the match clock. The earlier rounds have all been a race to 8. Now we're playing best of 21 frames, so a race to 11.
If he takes the red to the corner now, he's going to go into the yellow, but I think that leaves him the wrong angle on the red to the left centre. So he may, if he's straight enough, drop it in now and just hold. Then he can track down the middle of the table. But he is going to go for the one to the corner first. Wow, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. I mean, what's he trying to do there? Is he trying to go get the yellow full and push through it to get... I mean, that doesn't help his angle. I honestly don't know what he's trying to do at all.
I think he was trying to do what he did, but just caught it a bit thin. I think he was trying to just flick off the left-hand side of the yellow as he looked at it and come sort of along the break line, but that was just fraught with danger.
Well, just drop the one in the middle. Just drop it in. The cue ball finishes just to the left of the middle of the table. You've got the one right centre, but more likely you play the one at the top of the table and you just track down the middle of the, so just to the left-hand side of the middle of the table. I just can't. It was fairly routine.
Yeah, it was a very unnecessary risk that. In practice you might try that shot, but just trying to make an angle that wasn't really there. As a result, Andy Williams left a much easier chance. At the moment, both teams are just going to be targeting the win. It's way too early to be thinking about time and how many frames are going to get played. We may well have enough time for one team to get to 11. If not, that's a question for much later in the match. So you can approach it as a fairly conventional game of pool at the moment. Got to play with the 30-second shot clock, but it's all about just accumulating the frames. This is a nice position to start with. Anytime you come to the table and your opponent's moved a few balls, just a bit less traffic to negotiate around. As an ultimate pool pro means that Andy's one of the players that's had a lot of experience out in this kind of arena setup. Very familiar with the table, with the timer. All those are just little things that just helped you to settle down that little bit more.
Or is it going too far? He would have much rather have been on the one to the right than the one on the left, and the one on the left from hampered queuing is not fun.
This is really awkward. It's hard just to pot the yellow ball queuing over the 8 ball, but any kind of position, you're just going to have to roll this in and settle for the double. That's a good bit of queuing. That may not have looked much, but queuing over the 8 ball, had to catch the middle of that. So the double, plus needs to think about position, can't just leave the cue ball where the yellow is. Well, we're disappointed with that. That was a good chance. Claudio Cassar, who'd thrown away what looked like an excellent chance, is now invited back to the table with only 2 balls remaining. It's not quite so crucial. When you're 3-1 up, it feels like it's not the end of the world, but
it just feels like a massive missed opportunity. It just, you feel that Wales could be separated here. I mean, they should have won all 5 frames.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And then later on when it gets close, you wish you had that cushion. Good shot from Cassar. I'd rather not have needed 2 goes at this, but he's very happy to be back at the table for this second chance. And that ball is safely down. So Andy Williams, that miss proved costly, slipped out of position, forced into a double he shouldn't really ever have needed to attempt. And the Malta comeback continues. Can they do exactly what they did against France?
Yeah, missed opportunities for Wales, and just the noise starting to build for Malta.
And that's when they're at their best. It's obviously easier to build up the team support and the shouts when you're ahead. As soon as they drew level with France, they got a lot more vocal. Goff just setting the balls up for frame 6.
Bassani comes out.
This last match, he had a heartbreaking moment. We had a great break and then planted the cue ball in the corner pocket and had to watch his opponent clear up.
Let's go, partner, come on!
Messi. Messi, top right-hand corner. Difficult to see what he can do. Can't see a way to fire into them.
Extension called.
Have to pot a ball to be on that colour, so no obvious route to taking red balls if that would be his choice. He's had a few looks at this. He's running out of time now. He's already used his extension. Oh, well, in fact, you could see the one that was on the cushion, but that didn't really help because he's never had a route into the other ones. So he's going to have to probably play some kind of containing shot here. It's very hard to see how he's going to go game.
I think I like yellows there. Take the yellow to bottom left corner and then play the loss of turn. Yellow sits near the pocket and you feel that you then can control the tactical exchange.
Up next for Wales, John Coleman, the hero of their semi-final. Potted a great last ball. In a moment when everyone in the arena thought that he'd missed it, just hung over the corner pocket and then after half a second or so dropped in. Got to take a lot of confidence from that semi-final performance.
Let's go.
Really able to do much there, to just play a fairly nothingy shot in the end. Ryan just coming around to see what can be done in terms of squeezing this red towards the pocket. Well, one could be squeezed in, but the other one, as a result, is now very tied up. You get the sense that he really wants to go for this clearance, but just can't quite sort that top pocket out. With this format, attack really has become the default option. I've seen a few containing shots, but most people feel compelled to go for a clearance where it's half a chance of it.
Like a big shot's coming, don't you?
What's he going to do? Is he just going to try and play short position at the right hand side of the table, or is he going to fire into this area?
Oh, if that goes top left, he might have the right angle just to track the short position here. It definitely goes top left. It's just how much angle does he have? Might have just a touch too much. Yeah, he's looking for other options, so he has too much.
Not sure what he was originally planning there. He can't have been playing for the ball in the top corner. Tempted to play red off yellow. Those shots either look great or they look terrible. When you try and play one ball into another one, ended up looking a bit silly there because it looked like he was way wide of the pocket. He was just trying to flick the red off the yellow and hopefully move the yellow out of the way, and then the other red would have had a pocket at the top. All these yellows go, so good chance for a counter clearance from John Coleman.
He took out the big moment, didn't he, in the last match?
Yeah, it was a big moment because he left himself pretty awkward on his final red. Just
Fired it in.
Smash it in the length of the table. Delayed reaction as it fell in. Pretty good. These balls are all sitting nicely for him. Plenty of space to get to the ball top right.
And no problem getting away from top right either. It is further off the cushion than it looks. You just drop it in, flat on the cushion works. Yeah, even there, he may have just come a tick too high here. He might have to screw this one out. If he gets flat on the cushion, he just rolls it out. Shouldn't really pose a problem though. Even there, he could still get out. So, yeah, just primed here to get another one on the board and get two clear again.
The arena's gone quite quiet. Nervous anticipation as he goes about this clearance. Definitely won't be quiet if he pots these four balls. This wasn't a difficult clearance, but he's taken them pretty well. Continues his progress through these balls.
Ooh. Oh, he's put himself under it here. It just shows you in this format, the players, you think they're under, you feel like they're cruising through, and then all of a sudden they do that. It's just you're never too far away from a bad error.
No, I was struggling to build up the drama there because it didn't really seem like much could go wrong.
Hard to believe. It is hard to believe what we're seeing here.
That's an incredible miss. Not so much the 8 ball, but how did he get such poor position on it to start with?
It looked like it was going to fall. It looked tight going that way. Why not just play it the other way where it's not tight?
Yeah, it looked very tight. I think if he'd have missed the red, he'd have missed the pocket, so I'm not sure quite how he saw that going.
Needs to miss the 8 ball. Needs to miss the 8 ball. That's not the best of shots. And he might not even see the red. How'd you snooker yourself with only 1 ball on the table?
Yeah, if you'd been tasked with playing a snooker from there, you'd have found it pretty tough. Well, this has been a bad passage of play from these two. It was all looking plain sailing for Wales, then slip out of position. I mean, that was a tricky shot that Ryan had there, but all he had to do was avoid the 8 ball, even if he didn't get perfectly flat on the cushion. He's going to have some shot at the red. Oh, that was so all or nothing, and he just punts the black away. Disgust.
He may get a warning for that as well. Looks like Mark Goff's going to be okay with it, but it is I mean, it sums up where we are with this match. Not the greatest from Coleman, but job done. Well, somehow Wales are in front by 2. Not sure that really tells the full story. I feel like Will Osborne's been good today. He's been solid when he's needed to be. What a huge frame in their quarter-final. Backed up by Tom Cousins, who I imagine will be coming out next. This is frame 7.
Yeah, he's one of those players that's looked like he's been happy to be there. Looks excited for the opportunity. He's done the right stuff. I think we thought that as we approached the end of the match they might have a bit of drama, but the drama started pretty early. Neither player wanted to win that last frame. Wales have had a couple of good chances to open up a lead. Still really pretty hard to call a winner. Wales are obviously numerically ahead, but it hasn't looked 100% convincing since the start. The only person that's looked convincing the whole day through has been Tom Cousins. Everybody else seems to have got involved in at least one scrappy frame.
That's nice. Got the angle here. It'd be nice for him if he, when he screws into the problem ball, the red on the left, if he gets the red full and just pops it down about 8 inches, he'll be on the red to right centre. He can come down the table and he should have one over left centre to connect to the one at the top of the table. So get this shot right, miss the yellow, get the red. That's worked out okay. Thought he was going to screw straight into it. Moving the yellow could have made things worse, but it's come out really well for him.
Bit of gentle encouragement from his teammates. Nothing like at the end of the semi-final. There was a lot of encouragement being offered on every single shot.
Nail-biting time there for Cole Bedford.
Yeah, you can see what it means to Cole.
Come on, Will.
Will Osborne negotiating these balls well. There's a bit of traffic at the top of the table, so it does matter where he leaves position off this last red at the bottom. That's what's going through his head at the moment. looks like a simple position, but it's one of those ones where you could get yourself into some trouble if you don't leave the right angle. Well, chance of yes, Will. I think it's probably a bit more angle than he was hoping for.
You've got this, mate. You've got it. Come on in, Will. Come on. Confidence.
I don't think you can really overthink this. He's just going to have to focus on cutting the ball in. Or it's naturally heading over towards the 8 ball.
Yes, Will. That's all right.
In between. 2 rolls less, 2 rolls more. It is as easy as it gets. He should still make it though, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones, it's where you've put yourself in this position. It's frustrating. If you just came to the table and this was the 8 ball, you'd be happy enough with it. It was thin cutting that way. It may have been easy going the other way.
Yeah, I thought it was an easier putt the other way as well. Will Osborne's the one out there. He disagreed, he went that way and it hasn't worked.
Well, yet again, the first player in not always making a good job of it. Good chance for Malta on the counter. An important chance. 5-2 and 4-3. A big swinging scoreline. It's got a nice ball to get on the only difficult one on the left cushion. That's pretty much perfect. White flat to the cushion, so just a little bit of angle to get the cue ball away again. This will be a good frame for Malta to win, not just because it gets them back to within 1, but also because it's going to really annoy the Welsh. Such a good chance to get 5-2 up. It's exactly what you were saying earlier, it's a wasted opportunity. It's not super costly in the sense that they're still going to be ahead Wales whatever happens, but as odd as it is to say, that given the fact they're already leading by a couple of frames, they could have been a lot further ahead. Maybe a problem later on, may not, but they're making life harder for themselves than they need to.
Wayne Pache makes it a 4-3 game, no doubt about it. They may be a frame behind. Malta, though, will be the happier team. It's been Wales missing the chances. They could be separated here, and they're not. Join us again after the break. Plenty more to come.
You've seen the ultimate Pool 6 Red Shootout, now it's time to put yourself to the test. Step into the virtual arena with the ultimate Pool 6 Red Shootout mobile game. Climb the leaderboards and set the standard with this fun and addictive game from Ultimate Pool. Download now from Google Play and the App Store.
Welcome back. Clayton Castaldi, the world champion, comes out. Didn't get to touch the table in his opening frame. He was broken cleared by Cole Bedford, and he has got the break here in frame 8 as we go to the second round of games. Very tight, 4-3, 34-58 left in this one. A long way to go on the scoreboard as well. And Wales get the first opportunity, but it will not be Tom Cousins coming to the table. Wales have been clever. They have slid Oli Bale up the table because it wasn't his break, it wasn't Wales's break. Makes perfect sense, Mark, doesn't it? They've slid Tom Cousins down a position to give him the break, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, there aren't many players in the world you'd make that change for, because you wouldn't be that certain that it would make a difference. But for Tom Cousins, it's so consistent, it's almost like a free frame off his break. And Oli's quite a good person to put in this spot, because if Clayton had happened to break and clear, you might say that Oli hasn't been the form player of the day, but he's a dangerous player, so if Clayton comes up dry, he's there waiting.
Most of the day they've started off with Tom then Oli, so it kind of, they just flipped them round. They've done the same thing as well, just looking at the order that's come through to us now. They've done the same thing with Cole Bedford. So originally they started Tom Cousins, Cole Bedford in the 1 and 3 slots, so they had the break, and now they've switched them to be the 2 and 4 slots, so that they're going to have the break again. And it'll be Oli Bale and Zach Shepherd who comes back in at the expense of Ross Dunn in essentially the 1 and 3 spots. Andy Williams, Will Osborne and Jonathan Coleman round out their 7. Touch fortunate that throw, Lee's landed okay.
Yeah, that was not the gap he was playing for, but he'll take it. I love watching Andy play. He just gives you so much entertainment. You can tell exactly what he's thinking. Very compact cue action. Plays with a much shorter cue than a lot of players. Or further down, certainly. So he's going to cut the yellow into the left centre, just in case of where the cue ball's going. He's going to force his way through somehow. Don't think you can avoid cannons altogether, so he's just got to decide where in that line of reds he wants to hit. It's turned out pretty well. If he punts that yellow too far, then it's actually quite awkward, but he's nudged it just far enough that he can still play it to the right centre. Cue ball naturally coming up and down the table. This has been exactly the performance that they wanted from Oli when they put him in this number 1 spot. Dry break from Clayton Castaldi. Oli Bale does what he needs to. He's looking a bit happier than he was earlier on. He's played a big part in this match already.
Yeah, won both his frames as Oli Bale, and the change for Wales has worked. They send out Tom Cousins next with the break, and they get themselves a couple clear once again. Gary Carr will come out for Malta. Claudio Kazar and Owen and Matto will follow. Skubalina, Gretsch and Pache will round out their 7 for this middle section of frames. Race to 11, remember, much longer. That's why we extended to the 70 minutes.
Could he continue and complete this tournament with 100% record of first visit clearances? Surely, sooner or later, even Tom has to come up dry.
Oh, a bit of a miss-hit break from Tom Cousins. Still going to make a ball, of course. I mean, a miss-hit break from Tom Cousins is kind of a relative term because it's still hit well. It just lost the cue ball just the tiniest amount.
Still better than pretty much everyone else's break.
Yeah.
There was a moment it looked like he might not pass a ball. It was one of the last ones rolling.
And yet he has another layout where there's no clusters or problems. It's the pattern. Good chance this for Tom Cousins. Might be a touch straight on this red at the bottom if he's going reds. But you can get underneath the two reds in the middle of the table and take them to the top corner, and then you should be under control.
If Wales do go on to win this title, Tom's presence surely will have been a key factor. So many of the other frames have been really stressful because there's been so much back and forth, but the Tom ones have just been zero stress. He just goes out there, gets the frame won, does it quickly, nothing to worry about.
Well, a wide from Tom. He didn't need to go up there for the short position. I don't think he was even thinking about going up there for the short position. It's just cued across one. And this could be big for Malta because it's just another frame, of course, but there will be something just taking one off Tom. Not for Tom, but for the rest of his team, just to be, you know, there was almost that kind of that expectation he's going to win every frame he plays, which isn't far, well, it's far from a guarantee.
Yeah, I think it's an important psychological message. I think Gary Carr's got himself a bit excited. He's played those first couple of shots pretty quickly. Not really in any kind of position, but keeps on with the potting.
Yeah, he's still okay. Moving balls around, but he's still okay.
Yeah, that was a good recovery. Wasn't a particularly difficult shot, but he just left it a bit more distance than he needed to. He's going to be really excited at this prospect. You know what this tournament means to him, and the idea of beating Tom Cousins as well in a frame. Nice little touch there, just to hold it held perfect position. Quite a lot of angle, but that's fine because he always needed to run the white up the table to guarantee position on the 8.
Simple enough 8 ball then to beat Tom Cousins for the first time today. Get back within 1. And there it goes. That could be big. That could be significant. Gary Carr getting the victory.
Tom Cousins is human after all. Breaking clearance after breaking clearance earlier on, but this one slipped that time. I think we all thought it might be the dry break that would finally catch him out, but it was ultimately a missed pot that did for him.
When you look down the list of the frame results and you look at the way this match has played out, Wales could have won every single frame. You can't say the same for Malta. Wales have had 3 from the break, I believe, in the 9 frames, but the 4 frames they've lost, Ross Dunn, Andy Williams, Will Osborne and now Tom Cousins had chances in all of them, and some of them really good chances in all of them. They really could have been out of sight here.
Let's look at Zach Shepherd since he was taken out of the lineup as a result of losing that frame earlier on. He's played really well throughout the World Team Championships. He's one of their highest ranked players. It's a bit short on confidence, as you might expect after he missed that ball in the earlier match. So 26 minutes remaining on the match clock. Still no real closer to understanding the likely result. Wales could be way ahead by now, but Malta have managed to hang on to their coattails. That's pretty much the tail of the semi-final. France could have been a long way ahead, but Malta got back into it. And once they started getting back into it, they were just growing in confidence and in voice, it has to be said, which I think was actually making quite a significant difference. It's ended up a bit scrappy, this frame. All those reds going over to the right hand side of the table. It could take a little while to get that resolved. They're in quite good position if you wanted to play a tactical shot. I think what Malta need to think about here is trying to promote some of the reds out whilst playing safety shots. It's generally, with international rules, the flavour of this. You need to play sort of progressive safety shots.
Sort of frame that's going to really kill this clock, isn't it? I mean, it's going to shorten the match up significantly, which means the winner of this frame, all of a sudden, it becomes huge.
So, ball in hand for Malta, but obviously still the issue. Previous rule sets where a foul meant 2 visits. It was obviously a very different equation, but here you only get the 1 visit, so you've got to make it count. Looking at the loss of turn here, I like this shot. He's going to try and pot red onto yellow, pot the yellow, and then screw the white into a safe position. I like the idea. Could have done with getting the white a little bit further over to the right hand side of the table. Have turned back. That wouldn't have been possible if Malta had got the white tight over on the right hand side cushion. Zach wouldn't have been able to play that shot, so just slightly loose with ball in hand. Shouldn't ultimately be that decisive, but it starts to add up over the course of the frame. Feels like it's going to be a tense end to this match somehow. It just had the flavour. Whenever you have those positions where you could have won a match by a long way and you don't get it done, it just seems to always come back to haunt you. It just feels like Wales should be on more than 5 by now.
Yeah, it sort of feels like Malta are definitely the happier team. I know they're losing, but they could have been done and dusted here. And you're right, you just feel, especially you get that sense, don't you, from the Welsh team. They might sit there and think, if we let one go here, should we be out of sight? That's very good from Zach. That's really ramping the pressure up here.
Yeah, he's going to be delighted with that shot. That was pretty awkward to play from where he was. Claudio Casar should have been in a good position. He's just played 1 loose shot in amongst some pretty good ones. It's just allowed Zach a foothold. Well, it's quite messy, which is perhaps all he could do from there.
I'm not sure he can play the bottom one and get up to the top one here. So do you have to play the top one and risk a cannon and it going wrong and blocking the 8 ball?
Can he dig down? Yeah, I mean, it's a really high tariff shot.
He'd have to really dig, wouldn't he? Maybe come around 2 cushions to get in line.
Oh, he's played that well. He's played that really well. Could have done with a couple more turns, but he did well to get anywhere in the bulk area of the table.
That's done really well. 2 really good shots. They don't look like much, but under huge pressure. And this is remarkably similar to the ball he missed earlier on, which is the reason he sat out of the semi-finals. It was on a colour rather than the 8 ball that time, but it was the same level of ball. This time though, in it goes, and Zach Shepherd gives Wales a 2-frame advantage once again.
That's a good comeback from Zach. It's a bit awkward what happened earlier. Could have happened to anybody. The pressure of the situation, just missed a ball that he shouldn't have done. That's the way you make amends. You come back out and you win the frame for your team. And you can see the Maltese players, just a bit of life's gone out of that side of the room. There was a lot of cheering earlier, there was a lot of shouting, but now they all just look a bit subdued. Only 2 frames behind though. They don't want to be allowing any thoughts of defeat to be creeping into their minds.
Yeah, they're just sort of trading blows at the moment, treading water. Keep getting back within 1, keep going back to 2. And it's chaos Cole again. What's going to happen this time with Cole Bedford? Expect the unexpected. And it's the cue ball this time.
His break has a slightly chaotic quality about it. He's sort of cueing off to the side, then cue ball flying around the table. Because he cues up to that, he's off to the side of the cue ball, then he seems to find the middle as he goes through.
Yeah, cues right across it at the last minute. It's a very unique technique.
He's a good cueist though. I mean, in a sense, that's one of the things he's best known for. So one of the more mercurial players as well on the Maltese side, Owen Amato. I feel like these two are in prime position for serving us up an entertaining frame. From a neutral perspective, you'd obviously like Malta to get back into this. The whole way through, it's just felt like it could have gone one-sided, but somehow Wales, it's almost like they're doing it to themselves. I mean, it's sort of Malta, they're fighting their way back in, but it's just Wales aren't allowing themselves to get too far ahead.
Might have to cue one in here. He's opened everything up, but the only ball he's on is the long straight one to the corner. If he's on the one to the middle, makes a big difference. The good news is the one to the corner, it's frame ball. It feels like frame ball. Beautiful.
Oh, that's a good bit of cueing, isn't it? Under the pressure of being 6-4 down in a world final. I mean, that was never in doubt, was it? Absolute middle of the pocket. He does look a very good cueist, does Owen. Obviously got a bit to learn, but it looks like he could be a very dangerous player. Pulled that pretty well. There's work to do with the cue ball. Found his way around the angles. Just coming around to look at where he needs to leave himself. And the key thing obviously here is just not to end up behind one of those yellows. The safest option would just be to come below all of them.
Brilliant stuff this. Really impressed. Owen Amato. Moment of quality for his team. Cole's reaction there. There's no malice in that from Owen. He is just pumped. He is pumped up.
That's one of the best reactions of the night.
Yeah. Cole will see the funny side of that. And we are back within 1. The pattern of the match continues. Since we got to 3-0 and then 3-2, it has just been trading blows.
Let's go, the freshman, come on! Let's go, JS!
Well, the prediction of a 6 red could still be live. 17:55 on the match clock. Next for Malta, Gilmore Shaluna. Not dry though, so Andy Williams back in play.
Oh, this is a chance he's got to fancy. He's got the perfect last ball. The one on the left centre, it drops in. If it doesn't, you can probably just feather the other yellow off it, but it does drop in.
Once again, you feel like Wales just need to reopen this lead. I think if Malta were to get it back on level terms, the momentum could swing pretty quickly. There'd be no prizes for guessing who'd be the happier team if that happened. Still wouldn't really like to call a result here. It sort of feels like Wales' name is on the trophy after the way they got out of jail in their semi-final against Ireland. But it also sort of feels like it's been Malta's destiny. Keep getting to these finals. Seem to have just that little bit extra in the tank this year. I've got a feeling that maybe it is their year. That's what we love about the shootouts, the fact that it's so impossible to predict a winner. Making good progress through the frame. Not very easy to see where a mistake would come from, although it could be said about quite a lot of the action tonight. The fact that he's got the yellow right up there next to the 8 ball just makes this position so much easier, because Andy's got a huge margin for error. Just find his way through the gap of the reds. Absolutely unmissable to get position. Not always made it look easy, but Wales keep reopening these gaps. It's going to be 2 frames again after this 8 ball. And the 8 ball's down. Andy Williams leads from the front. He gets his team ahead. 7 frames to 5 this time.
The panic continues once again. Is there going to be more drama? Well, just under 15 to play here. And Will Osborne, who has been anchoring this team so effectively, has the break and has a ball. In the crowd there as that ball was threatening not to drop. Eventually it does fall in.
Jaden Kieran, 26. On 27, Liam Power of the Frontline, then reported to Steph. Liam Denny, Liam Oliver, 27. On table 28, Callum Nichols and Claire Laggy. James Goldsmith, Joshua Fletcher Norman.
Come on, mate.
James and Joshua. Versus Hannah Ryan on 28.
Yes.
On 29, Harry McKenna, Marcel Cruiser. 29. Sophie Cassian, Harry Marcel, 29. And last match on table 30, Jason Blue and Tyrese Gray versus George Stephen and Kieran Ward. George and Kieran versus Jason and Tyrese, table 30.
Almost a time foul there from Will Osborne. Caught that ball at the very last moment. Dayan not known for his love of tactical play. What's he going to do here? Still got the two yellows in a tricky position on the right hand side. It's been such a talisman of this team. You sort of feel like the moments of magic should come from Dayan.
He's got to get these though, and he's attacking. He is attacking hard. This is such a big shot he's about to play. If he's going, he's got to play the double now. May not get nice on the next ball.
He's played some great clutch doubles in this match, but that one goes wide. Where's the yellow going to end up?
Hasn't done any damage. Angle to go up the table for Will Osborne.
Big moment for Will Osborne here. He's got position on the difficult ball at the top of the table. Just needs one good shot here. Hasn't got to do anything with the cue ball. It's naturally going to track down. Just needs to make sure he pots this ball. Should naturally miss the yellow, even if he was to just glance off it. You wouldn't imagine it would be a problem. Gets his team 3 balls away from victory. Bit of confusion at the beginning of the match. There was discussion of a race to 11, but this is the same format as earlier on. It is a race to 8, so Will Osborne does just need these 3 balls. And that is the pressure of just needing those 3 balls. That was a miss that you would never have seen earlier on in the match. Look again at this. Just didn't have to do anything, and he's missed it by a long way. Normally when players miss those, they end up pushing them onto the cushion. Overcut it away from the cushion. So, can Dayan, at the multiple time of asking, get this frame done?
Come on in, Will! Come on in, Will!
Edgy, very edgy.
Come on, 100% Will. Come on, mate. All you.
So much pressure now on Will, because once you miss a good chance to win a frame, you just feel like you never really get one that's quite as easy. He's going to have to pot this ball at distance. I don't think he can avoid a cannon on the red, but he's kind of going to need a cannon on the red to hold position.
Oh, what a moment for Wales.
Oh, that could not have turned out any better. That is a fantastic result from where he was. The Welsh team, heads in hand. No one can bear to look at the table. Just this 8 ball required for Will Osborne. What a performance this has been from Wales. They look like they could have won so much more easily, but just keep edging ahead. And finally they do it, to wild celebrations from the whole Welsh team.
Can you believe it? Heartache for Malta once again. Wales have done it. They have had to scrap their way through every round. They've had to fight hard. They've had some moments, and it is heartache for the Maltese players. 3 straight finals, 3 straight defeats. Wales are the champions.
Welcome back into the arena, everybody. What a day we have had at the Grand Hotel, and a super final to match. They gave it absolutely everything today, so let's hear it for Wales and Malta. Give yourselves a round of applause, boys. A fabulous, fabulous day filled with action that we knew it would be, really. And Malta have done another fantastic shootout tournament. Let's hear it for your runners-up. Malta. Gary, if you'd like to come forward. Hard lines, mate. We've done this before. I know it was such a fantastic day for you guys, and ultimately the final just didn't quite go your way. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think in the final we missed a few chances. I think, so to speak, about the whole final in a few words. We had our chance when I think the frame of me and Tom missed the ball after 4 years. And I think that miss when I got the game to 5-4 instead of 6-3 might have been the chance. But then obviously we made a few mistakes. Wales played well. Wales had their moments even in the last frame. Could have gone ours. But third time we lost again. That's the game, and congratulations to Wales.
Well said, Gary. Let's give it up for Malta, everybody. I don't doubt for a second that they will be back. But in the meantime, it's time to congratulate your world champions. It's Wales. Andy. Oh, that must feel really sweet, mate.
Speechless, mate, to be honest. It's been a long time coming. We obviously hit 2 world finals and lost both, so this is a long time coming. But the lads have just been amazing, and we had to carry Tom at the end, but here's what it is, do you know what I mean? We've had a tough day. We obviously had to beat the world champs, the Euro champs, and the best team in the world, so we'll take it.
It's been a hell of a day. I mean, you are absolutely right. I know, tongue firmly in cheek, but a hell of a day, because every match tested you, every match pushed you to your limit in a different sort of a way, but you guys always found an answer, whether it be a brilliant finish, whether it be an outrageous fluke. You just had something in the tank to get over the line.
Yeah, well, we've got a chaotic player in our team, so that always helps. But yeah, we've got a team or squad of full quality, to be honest. So we always believe in ourselves, we believe in each other, and it goes all the way. I mean, even not just today, we had South Africa. We were 3-1 down against South Africa early in the week, so just to get through to today was tough work. But obviously Northern Ireland, we knew we had to bring it, and once you beat them, you just got to make the most of it, really. So yeah, just super proud of the boys. Unbelievable effort.
Yeah, fabulous group of lads that you've got, and I know victories are always sweeter as a team. How special is this group that you guys have assembled? It looks like you enjoy every single minute of playing together.
Yeah, over to Tom, we all get on really well, so yeah, it's just unbelievable, and to share it together is just the best. But fair play to Malta, they've had another awesome tournament, and they'll be back. So.
Great words, mate. It's now your trophy lifting moment. Going to bring in the president of the WEPF, Joe Fanto, to make the presentations, because your 2024 World Team Shootout champions are Wales! Fabulous scenes here in Blackpool. What a result for the Welsh, and what a performance from Malta. They gave it absolutely everything today. And the Welsh party is only just beginning. When we return, we'll break down that final and how it was won, and we might get some more Welsh voices as well. Stay with us.